In.
Yeah, it's 98.9 Northwest FM, and it's the Paul, Mark, and the Tech Guys show here. It's great having your company. Thank you for joining us. So we're just getting it all right and systems. We're looking we're looking live. We're looking fantastic. And if you're on the Facebook, thank you so much for joining us. It's Paul, Mark, Tech Guy. It's three blokes having a conversation, and we're very blessed to have Mary-Beth Hosking, who we're going to introduce to you shortly. But it's a show that we're talking everything community, sports, current, and controversial news, and of course, our good friend and the tech guy himself, Julio, jumping in the background there with some fantastic, little tech wizardry coming up later in the show. And also the top 7 around 7, which I hear is absolutely smashing it. And of course, the topical commentary from the man himself, Mr. Mark Watt, here is in the studio. But before anything, don't go anywhere, because we're here at 98.9 Northwest FM. We're back, guys. Can you hear me? Good to see you. Are you hear me?
Mate,
nice
I'm very excited, mate. Very excited to be here tonight. It's going to be great having Mary-Beth as our special guest. But I tell you what, the people are just loading up. There's a big queue to the Big Brothers Big Sisters dinner next Wednesday night, the 17th, at the RACV Club. We're all going. Julio's going. Mary-Beth's going. Paul's going. I can't find anyone that's not going, Paul. I mean, we're all going to the Big Brothers Big Sisters dinner next Wednesday night, RACV Club. Get on the Big Brothers Big Sisters website. There's still a couple of tickets free. We've got an opera singer. We've got Sammy J. We've got all sorts of things going on. It's going to be a big, big night at the Big Brothers Big Sisters dinner next Wednesday night, 17th of April.
Oh, that's awesome, mate. Hey, jump online and make it and comment. Maybe we can put something up on the line there as well, Julio. I know you're busy there, Mr. Techman. It sounds fantastic, Marcus, and I'm sure you put a lot of effort into the Big Brothers Big Sisters annual dinner, and it's a lot of expectation as well. But looking forward to a wonderful event, as you always do, mate. Sensational. Well, let's start by saying, hey, welcome to Mary-Beth Hosking, to the Paul, Mark, and Tech Guy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And Mark, I can't wait. I cannot wait. As soon as those tickets came through, I bought my ticket to the Big Brother Big Sister event. It's going to be stellar. I'm very excited.
I mean, you'd never forgive yourself if you didn't go. I mean, good night. If you've missed out, it's good to know there's still a few tickets to go.
Yeah, that's awesome, mate. How good is that? Hey, author and CEO, not another digital transformation, 10x generation, Mary-Beth Hosking. I can't wait for you to unleash and to let go of exactly what's going on. And I'm, to be honest, this last couple of minutes, I'm even blown away to listen to, your background and what's happening here. But welcome to the show. And finally, we've got you here. So thank you so much for coming and joining us.
Thank you.
Well, Mary-Beth, I've heard your story, but I do want you to just quickly give us a quick story of where you were and where you are today, because you haven't always been a CEO, an author, a real leader in our community. I mean, just tell us a bit about your personal journey to give us a bit of background on Mary-Beth.
Thanks, Mark. As you know, you came to my second book launch. So this new book, Not Another Digital Transformation, the 10X Generation, is my third book. But my journey, I started at a very unconventional journey for somebody that is a tech leader. And I was just saying earlier that I've been in tech for over 30 years. And I love technology because I think it's because I'm quite curious of nature, and tech's changing so rapidly that pace of change is really something that keeps me interested. But when I first started, I was a singer. I was a professional singer for many years. My husband and I performed, and I was known for that. That's what I was known for until that moment that I realized I don't want to do this anymore. And I think for the people that are on listening to this show now, there's a moment, you'll have these moments, and probably have multiple moments in your careers where you'll get to that point and realize, actually, what I'm doing is not what I want to do. I want to do something else. And that moment, that pivot point, I think is incredibly scary. It was very scary for me. I was known as a singer, and then I didn't want to do that anymore. And I needed to find something else that would bring me joy and interest me. And I actually discovered technology, and I did that by working as a temp. Back in the day, a temp was somebody that would sit in a role for 1 day, 2 weeks, doing a backfill on like a receptionist role or something. And I happened to work at this little company in South Bank called Apple Computer.
Mm,
And
interesting.
and it was 1991, and it was new. Everything was new. They had email, and nobody had email. You were lucky if you went into a temping office and they had an electric typewriter. So it was all very new and very interesting. And it was then that my passion for IT grew. And then from there, I've just worked predominantly in change and organizational design and organizational change theory and those sorts of things. Thus, the new book, which is all about stopping this awful change treadmill that organizations find themselves on. But that's a little bit about me. And now I'm the CEO.
I have to be honest here with you because we've got here tonight because we want you to launch your book. But Paul and I had a bit of a chat off air last week, and we're very concerned about Julio. So, we're very concerned about where he's landed in his life. He really thinks tech is the answer to everything. And when we saw your book, we thought, gee, this is a really good message for blokes like, the tech man himself, Julio, that really does need your help because he's struggling. I mean, let's be honest. So I think your book can help people like Julio, don't you reckon?
What are you struggling with, Julio?
I
mean, maybe there's a pill for that. I'm not sure, man. However, maybe it's the only answer. But look, technology has its place. It has its place, and it's there to help support us, to help us do things that we never thought we could. And it's there to help us push the boundaries of the art of the possible. If I I'm going to steal from a guru that I like to follow, but it's the art of the possible, isn't it? And that's what technology gives us. It's when it gets muddied with consultants who sit back saying, well, the problem is with the technologists and the technology departments. I have to sit back and say I completely disagree. So our book really talks about that in some way. But Julio, I'm happy to take it offline and have a really good chat with you. What I have to say is just remember that regardless of all the technology, there's a person at the center of all of that. So don't forget the people.
That's what you got to remember, Julio. We're actually humans here, and we're all about relationships. And it's great to have Chris with us tonight. He's welcoming everyone. That's a real human approach, Julio, like saying hello, all these sorts of things. And Beth, that's sort of what you're talking about in some ways. We can't replace this human element of engaging in a human way with a machine, can we?
No, you can't. I mean, I was actually having a conversation with somebody today about Chat GPT, and I want to do a LinkedIn video of what your life would be if you were like use Chat GPT for everything, in the transformative realms of the organization with which we work in and all that rubbish. It's just
that's it.
I think everyone's so concerned about AI taking our jobs, those sorts of things. It's never going to take our jobs. Look, in my opinion, it's not going to take our jobs because it's just filled with bias. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. But the key is it will enable us to do so much more with less. And for those of you that are feeling a little bit of concern around AI, what I say is this: it's going to open up greater opportunity. Remember the fear that people felt when the internet first came. It was like, oh, it's going to take my jobs. But no, it didn't. It actually exploded into so many different roles and things that were out there. Cloud, everyone was saying, if I work in infrastructure in a data center, it's going to take my job. But no, it redefined what that would look like, and it gave you other opportunity. So I look at all the tech with that air of curiosity. What's it going to do? How is it going to help? And what is needed so that it can help?
Yeah, and Chris has asked a question here about your thoughts about, which you've answered to some degree, about the thoughts of artificial intelligence and the implications that it has on all living things. So, I suppose it is something that we're all looking at to solve all our problems. What do you think the impact's going to be for people like Chris and especially our old mate Julio? I mean, is that one of the answers for him as well?
Well, what do you mean when you say all living things? I mean, how is artificial intelligence going to impact a tree? I don't quite understand what the implication is there. It's a tool. it's a tool, like the internet is a tool.
Support.
It's just another
Yep.
tool, right?
Yeah.
IoT, all of the tools you have around your house, they're just tools. What I think the issue that we may face is, and maybe this is where we were going, Chris, with the commentary, is that when we start to use, or we're using these algorithms, artificial intelligence or the AI algorithms, and we are filling them with bias, with unchecked facts, those sorts of things, where it is actually shifting the way the population thinks. That to me is a problem, when people start to rely so much on what they're reading or they're consuming that they're not actually using a critical lens upon the things that they read. But, it's the same as the internet. It hasn't changed. If it's on the internet, it's not necessarily true. You still have to fact check. You still have to do those things. So to blame artificial intelligence for all of that, I disagree. But then I'm also curious about where it's going to lead us to, and what that could look like.
I love your interpretation of that, and how it's so plain and natural it is. But I think we need to be saying that across the globe. Telling that the real element of it's not going to hurt. It's going to be, it's going to impact. It's going to help and support. But we need humanity. We need people to make this work, and to determine and to decisive, and to bring it about. So I just love hearing that, Mary-Beth.
Paul, can I just ask you a personal question, mate? All those emails you send me, have you been writing them in AI, or are they from you?
Actually, from me, mate. That's why I'd probably take an extra 5 minutes there, Marcus. Are yours in AI, are they?
No, mate, I haven't used AI yet, to be honest. Don't share that around, because I should be using AI. I bet Julio's using it. Are you using AI, Julio?
All the time. It's called Mark. He always informs me of what I need to do and where I need to be most of the time. So.
Now, Julio, I've heard that you're buying a copy of this book. What interests you about this book?
More to do. I think I'm more of a clever understanding. There's not many books around that actually have got a different view on how the digital world should work in the normal world. So to me, it's more of a better understanding about different models and different ways of looking at things. Because at the moment, you only got one advice, and that is you got to get on board. You got to put all your platforms on there. It's the best way forward, without actually interpreting other ideas or better ideas that can come across as well.
Right. Very good.
What do you think, Mary-Beth? Is Julio on the money here, or where is he?
I think that there's something to be said for what we call the wheel of chaos. We call it the wheel of chaos. It is that idea that a consultant will come in and they're going to fix all of your problems, because what they're going to do is look at your tech function, and all the problems you face in your organization is because your tech function isn't performing the way that it should be. But what you do find is that if you have a misalignment with each of the departments, if the departments aren't speaking to the tech teams, then how are they supposed to actually deliver what it is that you need as an organization? Yeah, and then true. what we see a lot of the time, and there's a concept we call shadow IT. Have you heard of that? No, shadow IT? No. You've not worked in an organization where, I'll give you an example. Finance decides finance wants to use a different system. And they don't want to go through the technology department, because you know what? Technology department's going to start talking to us about security, and we have to do this, and then we have to do audits, and then we have to think about licensing and licensing agreements. And this technology, it might not sit within the real estate or the tech stack that we've got currently in the organization, but it's a really good product. So you know what? I'm not even going to engage IT. I'm just going to put that in. Then I'm going to implement it. I'm going to get my funding, because I have my own funding, my own budget. I can manage that. So I get my technology. I put that in. But then somebody has to support that technology. So then I just offload that back onto the IT department and say, well, you know what? We needed to do this. You were going to be a bottleneck for us. You were going to go too slow. So we've done it anyway. But now we need you to support this. That's what we mean when we say shadow IT. It's because a department will go off and do what it wants to do without any understanding of the repercussions of what that means for another team. And then when you throw that back into the IT team, they're like, we can't support this. We don't know how to support this product for you. And then the IT team is the bad guy. And so therefore, let's do a digital transformation and fix the IT team so that you can do all those sorts of things. What we're saying is you need to have advocacy from the business into IT and IT into the business. You need to be talking, explaining what's the problem you're trying to solve and how can we help you solve that. Stop thinking of your internal IT department as a vendor or service provider. Think of them as a partner, because they are. They're part of the same organization as you are. And on a previous conversation I was having with another tech leader, he said to me, "Oh, this sounds like a utopian state." And I said, "Yeah, I know. Isn't it wonderful?" Because the people that have read the book so far have said, "I want to work there. I want to work for that company." Wow. Because that sounds like a place that actually has people at the center. And that's what I want.
Is that sort of what triggered you to write this book, Mary-Beth? What was the sort of the backstory on getting this book together?
My writing partner, Addie Culra, and we were in a meeting, and we walked out of the meeting and said to each other, how can the business not actually understand what it is that we're doing from an IT perspective? Where is the bottleneck? Where is the wall that is causing this this misunderstanding? And it was quite contentious, this meeting we were in. And we went into another meeting room and sat down and said, this is crazy. We are all working towards the same vision, yet we're being treated as if we are a vendor in this space. And we said, we think we know a better way. We should write that. I said we should write a book, because I'd written two books before. And we came up with the idea of the 10X generation state, what that would look like. And we then went to a couple of publishers, and the publisher picked it up and said, hey, yeah, we think this is really interesting, because what we're saying is we want to shake up the status quo. We want to stop. We believe that it's deliciously derisive, in fact, is what we think about the book, is that all those people that have been making their living off of digital transformations. And I want to say that this is not about a technology uplift. This is very different to a technology uplift. Okay, let's just say that. But everything gets muddied. It's the same as agile. I'm so sick of hearing businesses say agile, 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 when it's like what they actually just want is things to be faster. But when they say agile, then you go, oh, okay, well, we'll do the agile methodology, and we'll do a scrum, and we'll do this, and we'll do that. And then suddenly they're like, well, that. But they think of it, they're like, if I want to adjust the wheels, I can't drive the car with just the wheels. I need the whole car. And so they don't get the concept of what agile is.
You're pretty safe talking about, we won't be talking about agile much between Paul, Julio, and I. So you're pretty safe with us not mentioning the word agile. What about this 10X? What does that actually mean? What's the name of the book actually mean? Because Paul asked
10X generation. You know what 10Xing is? Have you heard of 10Xing? Yeah. So 10 by 10 by 10. Okay, going exponential. Yeah, it's all about that. So the intent is to go exponential. So we use a lovely little analogy, a plane analogy, which is the whole idea that so all of you have flown on a plane, right? You've all gone away on a holiday or something, So that first level, which we call the operational level, that's that idea that you've got your itinerary, you've got your tickets, you've checked your luggage. Everybody on the ground and the ground crew, they know exactly what's going on all the way through end to end. They have that full visibility. You get on the flight, and the operations team, so think of that as like the tech hub, they're still with you. They stay with you for the entire journey. Okay, then you've got your tactical, that second tier, that tactical layer, which is really your different departments. But in a flight scenario, you've got your pilots, you've got your in-flight crew. They all know what you need to do. They tell you the things that you need to know. They also know they know where you're going, as do you, as the passenger. Again, but the technology is still underpinning all of that with the operations team at the other end, at your destination and where you're leaving from. And then you've got your strategic, which is your third tier, your third level. And that is really that whole idea of taking off and getting to cruising altitude, which is, cruising altitude to go, the first ping you hear when you're on a flight, that means you've hit 10,000 feet. The next one, when they turn off the seatbelt signs, that's cruising altitude. That is where everything is in harmony and in sync. You know exactly where you're going. Ground crew are still there on both sides. Your in-flight crew know exactly where you're going. You know where you're going, and you know that you're going to get to your destination. That is your operational, tactical, and your strategic view. But wouldn't it be amazing? How amazing would it be if you had that sort of visibility in an organization, that you knew exactly at any point in time, exactly where you're going? And then to go exponential, it really means that you're going to go into the stratosphere, and that everybody knows exactly where everybody else is going. And they get it right when you fly. Right? When you
I'm
fly,
really liking where you're going here, because my old mate Paul, he runs a not-for-profit called Social Engine, and he runs the catering, the kitchens, the canteen. Does an amazing job. But I'm telling you, Paul, I like the idea of 10 times, trying to...
Love the idea, mate. Love it.
Do you reckon this is going to help you in your job, mate?
Absolutely, mate. I think we need to get Mary-Beth down for a coffee, and let's go through. Let's chat about it. 100%. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I love to.
I think it just takes courage. Takes courage. And people have said to me, but it just takes courage to do something so crazy as to let everybody else in on the secret of what your organization is trying to do.
Correct. And I think a lot of business owners also, Mary-Beth, would be quite prideful about their business, and it doesn't need fixing, or it doesn't need fine tuning, or transformations and so on and so forth. But having someone else from outside looking in and supporting opportunity of change and exponential change, I think it's exciting. Why not? Why wouldn't you?
Well, it'd be good to get some questions from our listeners, Julio, and I'm just keen to hear your reflections on it, mate, because you are the tech man, and we're talking about another approach here.
That's right.
More integrated approach. What's your comments back? Are you fighting back this, or are you willing to accept?
No, I believe that you always need to have fresh eyes look on any project and on any work method you've got, especially if it gets technical. The more technical it gets, the more it seems to break up into its own little groups. So that's why I'm usually finding situations like that. Like I said, I don't believe in this one fit solution that a lot of companies are grabbing, which is the IT does everything, the software will fix everything, instead of looking like Mary-Beth has put forward, that you need to look at the structure, the team, the people handling it, what's the ideas, what direction do we want to head, and the final outcome. And in my world, it can get very technical, and they tend to move for a lot of different software solutions, which at the end just make it a lot longer, because you got to learn that software. You got to really learn how the software works before starting anything else as well. So yeah, that's on my side.
It's very technical. What about you, Marcus?
Well, I'm excited about it, because I do think that, technology is not the answer to everything. And I do think that working with the tech guys in a human way is going to produce better results. So what sort of feedback you had, Mary-Beth, about the book from those that have read it? In what way has it helped them?
It's given them ideas. Well, what we give in the book is we give you basically the 4 pillars of what it is that you need to do. In the way that we've written the book, and I think that's really important, and thank you for highlighting that, Mark, is that in a lot of books like this, it can be quite technical, and you might sit back going, I don't quite understand or grasp the concept. So what we've done is we've written each scenario as an act in a stage play, basically. If you think of it like that, we've got 3 acts, and then each act has 12 scenes. There are 36 scenarios or 36 scenes, and they are written as a dialogue, as if something were playing out, as if a play were playing out. And then at the end of that scenario, we talk about the problem that the scenario is highlighting, and then what you need to do to get it to the 10x generation state. And we do that with each of the scenarios. And then we provide the 4 pillars that will then underpin everything that you will do to be able to implement.
Fantastic. That sounds really good. And so if people are interested, Julio, it might be good to put the book up on the screen again.
Yeah, bring it up on the screen.
If you do register, Mary-Beth, what's happening? You get a chapter, yeah?
Yeah, so if you go to Quantum Transformation website and you click on the 10x Generation tab, you will be able to sign up to our mailing list, and you'll get a copy of the first chapter free, and then a snippet or a sneak preview into how the scenarios are written into the scripts. But we promise, absolutely promise, we will not spam you. I know that people are really, really concerned about giving their email addresses away. those things. We won't spam you. It will really, our communication will purely be on when the book is launching and whatever specials and things that we might have, and whether we're having a physical launch and those sorts of things. The book is going to be launched globally. Wow. So you'll be able to get that across the globe. So we're just waiting on shipments to arrive into each country, basically.
Oh, very good.
Yeah,
very
fantastic.
Good. Yeah.
This is your third book, Mary-Beth. So you do love writing the old books?
I like writing if I think I've got something to say. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And with this book, Addie and I we want to work in an organization that is, we've both worked in startups before, and in a startup, everybody knows what everybody's doing, what they're working towards. And there's a sense of freedom, but a sense of joy. And you really feel alive when you work in a startup. Wouldn't it be amazing to be in an enterprise that had maybe 10,000 people and still feel that excitement? Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, correct. It would be, yeah.
You just don't get it, because when you're in a startup, then it's you start to see bloating and scaling problems and things, and then silos start to be created, and then people start creating their own little fiefdoms, and then suddenly all that visibility and that lovely way of working goes out the window. And I think that's the biggest shame. So it's kind of put people at the center. If you do that, and if you're a leader and you do that, man, you can change the world. And that's what we want to. We want to change the world. This is a revolutionary book. This is not something to sit back and go, well, maybe we'll tweak it. This is not a tweak. This is chuck it out, start again. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. And I couldn't agree with you more about that. It's probably having the right systems around it, but starting with the people and putting them at the center. So I think, it's been great you sharing about this book tonight, and hoping our listeners will really get on board. And Julio will put in the chat, how you get hold of this book, how you connect in there. And, I'm hoping, Julio, you're going to be one of the first ones to read it and to hook in there, mate. And so how are you feeling, Julio? I mean, Paul and I have been very concerned about you, and I'm just hoping that, us getting Mary-Beth in to help you out tonight is, sort of showing you the way forward.
Yeah, no, plus I think she's right. I probably do need some pills or something, just some extra boost somehow the way. So.
Horny goat weed or something.
That's it,
yeah. Good on you, mate, for being honest. Hey, listen, we're going to come back with Mary-Beth and the guys here on 98.9 Northwest FM. We'll go for a quick song and break, but to refresh yourselves, don't go anywhere, because we're very live till 8 o'clock. Here on 98.9. The Paul Marketing Tech Guy show. Coming up around the corner is 7 around 7, and I'm going to get Mary-Beth that really helped me dissect this up. Top 7 factors that influence organizational and reinvention strategies. So I might get you to drive it, Mary-Beth. Marcus, and don't forget, we've got Mark doing the topical commentary, and we'll also obviously love the Tech Guy session that closes up the show here. On this Wednesday, we're here every week. But I must say, though, next week we're taking a break because we've got, what have we got, Mark? What is it? The
Big Brothers, Big Sisters dinner, all going to be there. And hope Chris is going to join us, and other people listening are going to be at the Big Brothers, Big Sisters dinner, 17th of April at RACV Club. Come and hear Sammy J. Actually, I'll introduce you to Sammy J if you come along. He's an amazing man. You like Sammy J, don't you, Julio?
Yeah. He's really good. He's funny. He's a good character. He's also a really nice person. So that's really good. Man.
So, well, mate, we'll let you go, Paul, and we'll just have a bit of a chit-chat here amongst ourselves and see what Julio's got for us.
Good on you. We'll be right back.
Oh, so you start on me.
Yeah.
I thought on your stuff.
We might just move Paul off the screen. And, so, Mary-Beth, it's been a bit of a journey with you, with your new organisation. I thought while we're just having a bit of a break from 98.9, we're sort of here on the internet now. Just tell us a bit about the organisation you're the CEO of.
So Vic ICT for Women. So we support women throughout their career in STEM. So science, technology, engineering, and maths. And we do know that a lot of individuals that study science, engineering, and math tend to wind up in technology. It seems to be that entry point as well for a nice career pivot. We support girls from grade 5 to year 12 with our Go Girl, Go for IT event that's being run this year in August. It's aligning with National Science Week, so we're very excited. It'll be at Deakin University. So if anyone's listening and they'd like to sponsor or volunteer some time, we'd love to hear from you. Vic ICT for Women is a not-for-profit, fully sponsorship funded and volunteer-led organisation. So and we all know that we all know how hard it is to come by funding. So
have you got a little case study for us about one of the young women that you've sort of helped, and just sort of so it gives an idea what the organisation does for a case study?
Well, really, from the Go Girl perspective, I think what it is, it's around that efficacy of the program. What we do know is that young girls, when they hit sort of year 8 and 9, tend to fall away from the STEM careers, and we see a great attrition at that point. And so therefore we decided that when we would do Go Girl, Go for IT, we would go from grade 5 all the way through to year 12, because then it's run every 2 years. Then these young girls can come and it reignites their love of learning in the STEM space and what is available and out there to them or for them. And we get around 1,600 to 2,000 young girls coming to the event every 2 years. So we get quite a few young girls. Now, I know that's not a case study, but the idea is, and the intent is, to keep that pipeline of young students all the way through into university. And then we support these young women in university with our Grad Girls program. So it's that we're here holding your hand all the way through primary school and into secondary school. And then we're here again when you're about to leave university and go into the workforce. And when we work with organizations that sponsor us with Grad Girls, we also help them put together internship programs and graduate programs as well. So it's really that lovely, I guess, passing the baton from one to the next, but also keeping that pipeline of young female minds interested in STEM and what STEM has to offer.
Yeah, it's great. And Julio and I have been interested in this area because I run a thing called Stride Education. So it works in schools, helping young people. And Julio's got a bit of a passion for learning for life, Julio, that you sort of run. So it's a bit of a joint thing we've got here, don't you reckon, Julio?
Yeah, it is. And I'm pretty interested because I do work at a Doherty Institute. I wouldn't mind having, like, maybe look at your program to introduce it into the Doherty, especially for engineering and capabilities, because there's very little female integration into engineering from females. Is like at the moment, I could probably tell you that there's only one that I know of out of like 300 other students that come through. So it might be, I might get in contact with you on that side just to have a look at.
I'd love to have a conversation about it, because it's that whole, it's the idea that we need to just keep young people interested, keep their fingers on the pulse. I know that I deal with a lot of the LLEN, so the Local Learning Education Network, and in regional Victoria, and just, giving the young people in regional Victoria the same opportunities as those that are in the metropolitan area is really challenging. But we have been speaking to some of these, the TAFEs, etc., and about getting some regional students down to Go Girl. Now, obviously, because we are female-centric, Go Girl is for young girls and those that identify as female. But really, it's just that whole idea that technology or STEM is interesting, and there are opportunities for young girls and young women. And I think that's where we lose a lot of the younger students and those in the pipeline, because they can't actually see what the future looks like for them. And that's the biggest problem, right? I go into engineering and I walk into a room and it's me and 300 men, 300 teens, etc. And what do I do with that? How do I navigate that? But wouldn't it be so nice if I went into a room and there were 50% girls and 50% boys? There's that balance, and diversity is about balance and harmony, not about more or less of one or the other, but bringing balance. And that harmony gives us diversity of thought, right? And that's really where that's the thing we're trying to get ourselves to. It's not so much that idea that you have to have more or less of one or the other, but have diversity of thought.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Pretty much.
Well, we've got the great man Paul coming back for the second half of the show. If you're listening to the show, make a comment.
Back to the Paul, Mark and the Tech Guys show here on 98.9 Northwest FM. And we'll bring back our stream very live. We've got the very awesome Mark Watt there, the tech guy himself, Julio V, and our awesome guest this evening, Mary-Beth Hosking, author of Hello, good to see you. Hey, I noticed you guys were doing a lot of chatting, so I feel bad. Like all the streaming audience are getting a wonderful feedback, but then we're listening to Van Morrison. So is that fair?
Well, Van Morrison. I know what I'd be liking to listen to. Just saying.
I didn't pick it. Was already there.
Well, I was just saying to the guys that we're in the second half of the show. Anyone listening, great to have a comment about anything. The Mary-Beth book. Awesome. Julio, if people are interested in how Julio's going, you can ask him. Paul and his catering, if you want some catering, whatever it is, we're open the second half to hear from you.
That sounds good. Sounds good, mate. Well, I tell you, it's comes up to the time now. It's called the top 7 around 7. When you're there, Mr. Julio, you can
2 seconds and off we go.
I'm going to say, if only our guys in the radio could see that little video. It's pretty cool. Hey, very nice, mate. Very well done. Top 7 at 7 with me, the band, in the hot chair in Studio 2, actually, here in Melbourne Town, 98.9. Top 7 factors that influence organizational reinvention strategy. So I was sort of thinking about, well, what's the, what could be a really good top 7 at 7? And I thought, well, how do we get the ship back on track? So through some research, surveyed the number 1 for the top factors that influence organizational reinvention strategy. And Mary-Beth, we're waiting for your answer on this one. Pace of technology. 79% have been researched as pace of technology, factors that have influenced organizational reinvention. What do you reckon?
Oh, absolutely. Technology and the pace of change, the rate of change, has actually, it basically has forced us to reinvent what it is that we do from an organizational perspective, right? So it has enabled us to actually think more innovatively. And therefore, when we think innovatively, especially from a technology perspective, we are looking at how do we actually need to structure our organizations to meet that need. You can see that with let's move a little bit. If we talk about manufacturing, car manufacturing, what was that like, 100 years ago versus today, and then what it's going to look like, with the robots, etc., automation that's in that space and how many cars they can churn out compared to what it was like 100 years ago. But technology is changing so rapidly. I don't know if you've watched anyone here watched is it 3 Body Project? Have you watched that?
Yes, I did.
Oh my God, so good. So good. I'm reading, my son's reading the book at the moment. I'm waiting for him to finish because I want to read it. But they said in the last 50 years, we've had such amazing advancements in technology.
Yeah.
If we look at when I first started working in the corporate world in 1991, 92, we didn't have mobile phones. We only just started having a mobile phone, and 10 years later, everybody has a mobile phone. When I was in the States, just recently got back from the States and picked up a Vision Pro, and that is next level technology. And you look at that unit as it is now, and I said to my friends, imagine what this is going to look like in 2 years. Give Apple 5 years, and it's going to be looking something like that show. It is extraordinary. And then if we start talking about things like, then we start talking about sustainable technologies, electric vehicles, all of those sorts of things.
Yeah.
What was it? When did the Prius come out, guys? I can't quite recall off the top of my head, but maybe let's say 15, 20 years ago, the Prius came out. The first hybrid, the hybrid that had a good, decent range from Toyota. Yeah. Now you've got Teslas and you've got all these EVs on the road where you can actually drive 700 kilometers on a charge. And then they're talking about having EVs that will go 1,000 kilometers on one charge. It's just, so the pace of technology in 10 years time, things will be, in 10 years time,
Another
we won't have
dimension.
monitors. It'll be completely heads up displays and things like that.
And,
I mean, it's going to be crazy.
Paul, of course, we've got some friends that come in on technology. Your mate Roberto loves you, mate. I think he's one of your new fans. He said, yeah, when you said the 7 in 7, he said, yeah, and now he says, nice friends. So, you know, we've got these Julio, we've got it might be related to you. He's Roberto, but he's got Julio in his name. So maybe one of your distant cousins. I don't know.
Might be, yeah.
Oh, yeah, good man from
He's got the music.
Roma, Italy. That's Roberto Di Julio. Good on you, man. Nice friends. He's lovely. He's a artist, a smooth jazz artist in Italy, Roma. So great, mate, having you on the tunes there via tunein.com. So there's technology in itself there, Marcus. I don't know if you know about that, but tunein.com. Check us out in the program. Great having you with us. That's awesome, Mary-Beth. What about 67% surveyed said shifting consumer preferences? So that's shaping, influencing organizational reinvention.
Yeah, absolutely.
What we're talking about. Yeah.
Voice of the customer, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know what VOC is.
Can you just explain this? Is like I'm trying to get Paul to sell more hamburgers or hot dogs. I mean, is this what we're talking about here? Like customer preference? You know, is there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the algorithms. Do you have Netflix? Do you have Netflix or a streaming service? Yeah. Okay. So it's serving you. It is serving you what you consume and what it believes you like to consume. Right. So when I say consume, I mean, as in from a technology perspective, is what you watch or what those things are. You will, if you look on Facebook at an advert on Facebook for more than 3 seconds, it then assumes that you like that. And then you will start seeing more of that coming through on your feed. That's what we talk about when we're looking at consumer preferences, is actually having the ability to know what it is that the customer wants to consume, wants to purchase, wants to buy. And having that and really nailing that, and then understanding your value proposition for the customer lifetime proposition, that's really what helps with that consumer preference piece. So Paul, if you want to sell more burgers, perhaps it's you maybe need to look into something like that, or get somebody to work with you on a net promoter score for the voice of the customer.
Well, can you just quickly tell us on air, what is your value proposition for Social Engine Catering? What's your value proposition there, mate?
Very good question, Marcus. Great food made by food made with purpose. All right? Young people, disadvantaged youth, making fantastic food. We skill them, we train them, and give them the opportunity to scale up a wonderful package for our corporate clients out there. So that's
fantastic, mate.
It is absolutely
You hungry, Julio? You hungry?
Yeah, no, I am hungry now.
I'm a family. All right, so moving on. So 46% surveyed said climate change regulation. Now, who wants to talk about that one?
Yeah. ESG compliance, guys. Do you know anything about that? Because I'm all over it. The reporting piece. So that's 1st of July. So if you are not across what needs to happen for the different phases of the reporting, phase 3 is probably going to be the most onerous. But you need to understand that from an organizational perspective. Absolutely.
But Mary, it's the ESG. This is all about the E. What about the ES? What about the S in ESG?
Sustainability.
Okay. Is
sustainability.
there social in there anywhere?
So what that is it's basically being able to report upon what your organization is doing from an environment sustainable perspective, what is actually happening, and then what is it that your third party providers are doing. So it's not just enough for you to sit back and report upon your organization and to say, as an example, my diversity metric means that I'm going to have, 25% of my head of and above roles in my executive leadership team will be of a diverse nature, either women or people of color, etc. It's not enough to say that. Is you need to start talking about all of your technology, what are the environmental impacts of your technology and how do you report upon those? And then starting to look at your service providers. Who are you using? Are they using sustainable technologies? So say you use a Microsoft as an example. What are they doing? So you are having to report all the way through your supply chain from a technology perspective.
What's encouraging people to look out for homeless people or young offenders or people on drugs or people that, socially isolated? Is the ESG cover that in there somewhere?
I can't talk to that piece because I'm just sort of looking at it from that technology perspective. But there will be things within that. So if you have a look at, oh gosh, is it 26 different items in the ESG space? If you go into have a look at the United Nations and what it looks at, it does look at that. It looks at underprivileged individuals. I just don't have it up on screen at the moment to be able to give you something more. But
we'll
it
have
does
to
look
look
at
at that
that
one day, Julio, just to have a look at these 26 things in the ESG, because that's going to be quite interesting. Paul would be very interested in that, wouldn't you, mate?
Very, very interested, let me tell you. What about 42% talking about energy price increases that have factors that influence organizational reinvention?
So electricity prices have gone up, that's for sure.
Through the roof. Absolutely.
Good night. You go everywhere, they turn the lights off. No one wants to put the lights on or the power on anymore. Mary-Beth, what's going on out there?
Well, that's the truth, isn't it? I've got 32 solar panels on my roof and a Tesla wall. So, because we saw this sort of coming. Gas, don't even get me started. Gas prices, and I like to cook with gas. So all of these things are increasing. However, we need to start looking at sustainable technologies around our around energy and our energy consumption.
Can I just pick you up on that? Did you see the gas thing coming? Did you actually go against gas because you knew that we're going to have problems with gas going forward, or?
No. My husband and I, we live in an area that gets so many electrical outages when we were during COVID, during the lockdowns, we would lose our internet for 4 hours. We'd try to work on our phones and do those sorts of things. But it got quite prohibitive of us being able to, do our jobs. And so we decided we would put solar panels on the roof, and we put a Tesla wall, a battery, so that we can live off grid. And the single Tesla wall gives us enough power to power the house for 18 hours. So we did that. But we made that investment because we both have Teslas and we wanted to be able to charge off grid as well. And we figured that if we were going to get EVs, we were going to go down that sustainability path, then we wanted to do as much as we can for the environment in our tiny little segment of it. So that's what we did.
Paul's a big believer in Ream hot water, the gas hot water system. Isn't that what you use, Paul? You have your shower with gas water or what?
Absolutely love the gas. Absolutely love it. Well, it's topical at the moment, isn't it? Who knows what's going to happen? But I still use gas at the moment. I think we'll keep going though. So we've talked about energy prices, inflationary pressures for the sake of time, talent shortages, if you can speak to that one. And I guess our number one economy slowdown is our top 7 factors that have influenced organizational reinvention strategies. Thank you so much. A final note on that one, Mary-Beth, on those numbers there.
Talent shortages.
Yeah, that's
they are. But talent shortages. This is what I'm saying to people: don't panic about AI coming. There's talent shortages, so reskill. Look at other things. Be curious. Be curious.
Love that.
There's so many different organizations that are helping people reskill.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's your top 7 around 7 with me in the hot seat now coming up. So Marcus, so you're taking on. So I think I need a name. Can someone please jump on the Facebook and give me a name for this segment? This is it Mark Commentary? Is it Mary-Beth?
Well, I've got a bit of an issue today I wanted to bring to your attention, because look at the brochure behind me. That's the Larapinda Trek in Alice Springs, going up the McDonald's Ranges. And I've got a big challenge. And, to be honest, Mary-Beth, Paul and Julio have not helped me one bit with this. And I've got this training package that has blown me out the water, because Julio wants to go for a walk with me for a couple of minutes. And this training package talks about a 6-hour walk. 6 hours walk. How am I going to walk 6 hours, Julio?
Mark's
I have this training schedule that, Paul, I've got to be doing. I go on the 24th of July up to Alice Springs, walk the Larapinda Trail, and I've got to go up mountains, down mountains, and it's just I just don't know. I mean, I'm trying to be realistic here, Mary-Beth, and I know we can't use technology, but this is it. This is me going up the mountains, and wait till Julio gets to the training.
Isn't a defibrillator technology? I'm just wondering.
I don't know. Well, Tina Schrader has said I've got to train every day. Now, this is a training cycle. We can make that bit bigger, Julio. It's a training plan. It's got a 6-hour walk in there and exercise bike. Someone's offering me an exercise bike, which is fantastic.
How many Ks is the Larapinta Trail? How many kilometres is it?
Well, I know it's not going to sound a lot to people like you, Mary-Beth, because you probably walk this every day, but it's about 44 Ks. And the problem is not that it's 44 Ks, it's just that it's the mountains. It's going uphill, Paul. What advice are you going to give me, mate? Are you going to encourage me? Like, look at this. This is what I'm going to see. The good news is that you can join me, Paul, on this if you want to.
No. So tell me, what sort of training have you been doing over the last couple of weeks to set yourself up for this great success?
I thought I had to get the food intake first, like get myself enough to eat. So I've ticked that.
So carb load. There you go.
Yeah, I got the food going. Now I've got to get the exercise in, and I haven't quite started there, Julio, because look at this training regime and the 6 hours walking. I just thought, good night. Like, am I? And you can tell me straight, Paul. Do you think I'm dreaming, wanting to do the Larapinta?
No, not at all, mate. I think to put your mind to it, set your goals, which you obviously have, make it happen. So just get out there, get off the computer, don't send in your invoices for a couple of weeks, and just go out there and move around.
So, Mary-Beth, can you just give me insight into your physical fitness campaign, just to give me a bit of encouragement? Because are you into fitness yourself?
Yeah, I do Pilates and I do walking. I walk. I've got a treadmill downstairs, so I get up and I do that. Where I walk, because it gives you incline and stuff, but it's also the thing to consider is when you're walking outside and you're also doing that trail, is that it's uneven underfoot. So what you should be doing is getting out and walking on places that are uneven surfaces, so that you understand what that is, so that you can actually get yourself prepared for that. But you don't have to do 6 hours in a go. Why don't you just start off with 2 hours? Exactly. I mean, an hour will get you walk 5 kilometers in
I'm trying to make Julio my coach, but I'm thinking about sacking him and getting you, Mary-Beth. What do you think, Julio?
Well, that's fine, because at the moment you're pretty hard to coach. Just trying to get you out there, the problem.
Well, let's talk about it at the Big Brother, Big Sister dinner, which is coming up soon. We can talk about that over, 3 or 4 glasses of bubbles.
It's a good point you made.
Happy to talk about that.
All the money we raise through Larapinta, Paul, is going to go to the Big Brothers Big Sisters charity, a great cause. And if anyone's listening and wants to join me at Larapinta and help me up the mountains, you can sign up. We've still got a couple of places left, and so it's going to be really good. And hiking essentials, Julio. Eh? Yep.
I love Tina's response there. It's called training every day, Marcus. Don't leave it till the day before you go to Larapinta. You need to train now. Start now. Right. Remember, I guess
she's offering everything. So there you go. Get it done.
No one's offering me a treadmill, though. I need a treadmill.
Don't worry about a treadmill. Get out there and start walking, mate. Just do it. You can actually.
Anyway, that's my rant today, mate. I'm back down to Julio because he's not training me properly. But Mary-Beth's given me some good ideas, and I'll see if Julio can pick them up for me.
I will.
That's awesome. Come back on the 24th of April. Mark's rant, absolutely sensational. So that's the segment that I love. That. Mary-Beth, will we sign that off? Is it Mark's rant?
Absolutely. I'm bang up for that. I think Mark's rant is actually priceless.
I love it. Well, don't go anywhere. It's 98.9 Northwest FM. Paul, Mark, and the tech guy, and the very awesome Mary-Beth Hosking with us. Stick around, because we've got now the next segment's called, that's your turn, mate, the tech guy. Here's Julio with this current tech news.
That's it. At the moment, the tech news is today is just trying to make Mark's life comfortable. So I decided to do a bit of research about how could I do most comfort for Mark during his training session. And I came up with basically this. The U-Butte Da Vinci, which is a full-on, massive comfort chair built for Mark. Just for him to constantly come to. Or if he really is not interested in that model, you go for the robot, which is a more comfortable, luxurious, and more scenic view. Could go look around the room if he wants to. Or for these sort of events that we got today, I've also covered him for the chair to be there.
That'd suit you, Mark.
So they could do his Facebook.
Oh, that looks like the one.
The rest of it. Mate, and just for comfort, Mark, for your trip, I decided to also throw in a bit of massage chair for you during the trip. You can take with you. Plug it in and off you go. And cover
is that a chair or massage the feet, Julio?
Correct, yes.
Tech guy. For the feet, is it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's for Tech Guy review for Mark and what he requires.
Well, I tell you what, for our listeners, sorry, mate, Tech Guy, for our listeners on the Radio 989, obviously don't see those pictures, but I would encourage you to jump onto our Facebook pages. What are they, Julio? Just for our listeners, if they want to come and watch the rewind or the
yes,
the reload.
You can go on Facebook on the Paul and Mark Tech Show. You also have a YouTube channel at the moment running as well. Same thing.
Nice.
Paul, Mark, and Tech Guy Show. That's on YouTube and pretty much goes live, or you can watch the stream as you like to go along as well.
Yeah,
I didn't see anything that's going to help me up the mountain though, Julio. Like, you got any machines that will get me up the mountain?
I was looking for that, but they all gave up at your. There's no function to switch off.
Maybe it's an EV. Maybe it's a BYD EV, mate.
Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah.
Electric vehicle.
That's it. Straight up here.
What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
No.
I put a bit onto Elon Musk. See what he came up with for Mark.
Cybertruck, mate. Take a Cybertruck.
Yeah, that's it. Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's good.
Well,
that's
good.
good.
I think you're pushing me, Julio, which that might be the way to go. You push me up the hill, mate.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's another thought. 531 meters. That's not bad, Mark.
That's pretty hectic. Eh? Pretty big.
Jeez,
So there you go.
mate.
I wonder if we got anyone.
You need to get Elon Musk to implant the chip in your head and then just to cut off all of your pain receptors so you can actually do it and not feel any pain. That's how Elon.
I think you got a good idea, Elon Musk. Do you reckon he'd sponsor me for this trip? Have you? I mean, you've probably met him a few times, Mary-Beth, given you've bought about 10 of his cars. Reckon you could get him to sponsor me?
I'll get it. I'll give him a call later. Okay.
All right,
That's it.
That's good.
We're not talking about wheels for you, Mark. You need to use your feet. your legs. You know what I mean? Like, so it's got to be.
That's it.
Well, mate, it's awesome. There's obviously lots happening. We're back here. We're not here next week because we've got what we got next week, Mary-Beth? What's happening in Melbourne Town?
Big Sister event, is it not?
That's
Big Brother,
right.
Big Sister event. I will be there. So if you want to talk to me about the book, happy to have a big chat as well.
Now, Mary-Beth,
it's going to be great.
Can we have a copy of your book for the raffle? Because we might raffle off your book, a copy of your book, if that's possible, or one of your books, and
let me see what I can do. I will
bring it over, and we'll add it to the raffle, and we'll promote it a little bit at the dinner.
What I can do, how about I give you a copy of the first two books? Would that work? Because I've got those. I don't have.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, you do that, and we'll add that to the raffle.
I'm more than happy to donate.
Julio loves winning the raffle, don't you, Julio?
I do. Yes, I go buy tickets.
Buy tickets.
Mary-Beth, a question for you. Global rollout of the book. I mean, it must be pretty exciting to take reaches, all around the world. Has that been a bit of a nightmare organising? How's that all working?
So the publisher, we have a publisher in the UK. They're a UK publisher, so they are doing all of the logistics with all of that. It's just really getting the distributors to be able to have the book to do that. We think our biggest market's going to be India.
Okay.
Because there's about 14 million people in technology in India. So we think that that might be one of the larger markets for us. But as soon as it is available, I'm still looking for a launch sponsor here in Victoria. So if anybody is interested that's on here that would like to help me launch the book, please reach out. You can get me on LinkedIn, please. And anyone that's listening, if you want to link with me on LinkedIn, you will find me, Mary-Beth Hosking.
Yeah, that's awesome. What do you think, Mark? Are you in? Are you going to help?
Yeah, it sounds like a good. I mean, obviously, all Mary-Beth's books are great, so I think you should look at them all. But this one sounds like a really good book. I love I'm actually thinking about buying you a book because I think we're going to go 10 times at Social Catering. It's going to be 10 times, and we're going to not going to rely just on technology, Paul. Going to rely on really good food, good human interaction, and a bit of technology as well. So it's integrated. Is that right, Mary-Beth?
Yeah, it has to be integrated.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome. Well, that's awesome. Huh? Well, thank you so much. It's coming that time where we need to say, goodbye. And thank you, Mary-Beth, for joining us this evening. Finally, we got you here, and we're looking forward to, rubbing shoulders next week. But we'll be back on the 24th of April, Marcus, I believe. Is that correct? What's coming up on the 24th? Just a quick one. Got a quick...
no, we won't be here on the 24th, actually. We're going to be here the week after.
The week after. Let's have a quick look at that. Yeah, all right. So that will be the 1st of May. Is that right?
Wow.
May 1.
Isn't that year
Oh,
going?
wow.
Mm.
So May 1,
Wow.
and we're looking forward to that segment called Mark's Rant. That's going to be sensational.
That's it.
And also the lovely stuff that the tech guy puts together. But thank
And
you for joining
also-
us here.
And also to Mark's fundraiser, I'm going to start up soon just for him to get a set of lens just for the trip.
Now you're talking. That looks good. Yeah,
and go from
that's
there.
what I need.
I love it. That is sensational. Oh, well, look, we have a great time. 3 guys and the very awesome Mary-Beth with us this evening. 3 guys just, talking fun and just learning and really rubbing off one another. But we look forward to seeing you next time around. Grab a copy of the download on YouTube and Facebook. You can always see it, see previous shows. But Mary-Beth, thank you so much. The best of luck in your endeavours. And I look forward to getting you back in to hear about, the successes and the testimonials and so on and so forth. But drop us a line as well. Keep Mark up to date, huh? And
Yes,
we'll,
absolutely.
Look forward to seeing you soon. Marcus, thank you so much. Tech Guy, look forward to seeing you again.
Yep.
And we'll be back here very, very soon at the usual time at 7 p.m. on 98.9 Northwest FM. Take care, guys. See you next time. We're going to go to some music. And I might play a bit of Chris Rea. Mark, what do you think? You into
Sounds good,
Chris
mate.
Rea, or?
Yeah, love your music. Good on you, mate.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right.
Take care. See you next time. Thanks, guys. And thanks for our wonderful listeners too. Listeners and our interactions on Facebook. So we really enjoy the fact that you get on the Facebook and interact with us. And keep it going. Give us feedback and let us know how we're doing. Take care. Have a good night.
Good night.
Night.